What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. And for today's video, I'm going to take a look at Alabama. Um, and I just feel inspired by Alabama because their mindset is threes and layup. So my argument for today's video is threes and layup. What are the things you got to be worried about if you try to go for a threes and layup approach? Because I know it's very inspired by the NBA. A lot of youth teams want to do it. A lot of high school teams want to do it, right? Because we know that there's more value in taking the 3-point shot and shooting at the rim, and we want to eliminate the mid ranges. Okay, so just looking at this game, you see Alabama lost yesterday. And if you look at this is their shooting chart. And you can see that all of their shots are all around the perimeter at the 3, or they try to get all the way to the rim. Okay? And if we just look at the team stats, we're looking at Alabama right here. You can see for 3, they went 3 for 27, with Brandon Miller going 1 for 10. Okay, Brandon Miller is a projected lottery pick. So what happened? So here, I'm going to make this argument and just say that with the mindset of let's just take threes or layup, what is it that you have to be worried about is you settle for a lot of shots. You don't really have that attacking mentality where we try to punish the defense and try to get to the rim. And you'll notice that on a lot of these shots, it's shots that you feel like you can get anytime in the shot clock. Here, the ball's going to go to Brandon Miller on the side, and he's just going to pull it from almost 6 feet beyond the 3-point line. There's no one right here. So I want you guys to pay attention to Javon Quinterly. He's going to take this shot, right? Where if you look at just on the drive right here, he could have attacked the baseline and maybe got a little floater, maybe get a one dribble pull up, right? He's going to miss this one, but you'll notice that in the next clip, he's going to almost get the exact same shot. This time he's going to attack the rim, and this time he's going to get it. So when I say like they settle a lot, I think there's a lot of opportunities that because you're hunting for these threes, you miss out on a lot of opportunities. There's one right here. Brandon Miller's going to catch this, and you can see he pulls it all the way from deep. Now, open shot, but we understand that with contested defense, that is also a hard shot to make. Okay. One more right here, and then just here, logo. Same thing. All right, I find that mentally we settle. Okay. Something else you gotta understand is in the playoffs, the refereeing is different in the playoffs. Now, Coach O, what do you mean by the referee is different in the playoffs? In the regular season, a lot of times, there are certain calls that you get in the regular season, and when you move up and you start going to the playoffs, they start the same way that teams earn their way to move on in the playoffs, the same way that in a lot of leagues, refs move on in the playoffs. So the referees moving on in the playoffs, what happens is that there's a lot of calls that you think you get that you probably won't get in the playoffs, okay? Because the referees want the game to flow, okay? They don't want to determine who wins the game and who loses. On this drive right here, this is a shot that potentially in the regular season, a lot of contact, that could have been called a foul, right? But this is early in the game, so we don't want to call it. You guys going to see this one in transition. Here's another one. How many times have we seen somebody driving like this? That could have been called a foul. Could you make the argument? Could that have been a foul? Yes. Here's another one right here. Okay, so the referees don't want to determine the outcome of the game. So they're going to let a lot of things go. Here, driving all the way to the rim. Don't get it. Right? So it's a different game in the playoffs. And that's why, like, a lot of times, like, when you are a team that will settle for threes, or you try to get all the way to the rim. What you're relying on, and when you get to the rim, is you're relying on the referees to call fouls for you. And then when you don't get those, when you don't make threes, it's deflating. When you miss shots at the rim, it could be just as deflating as well. Here, the defensive philosophies of other teams, okay? So most teams are going to try to take away the three and protect the rim, okay? So what you'll see is that whenever you get to the rim, expect, especially teams that have shot blockers, expect to get blocked at the rim, because all we're trying to do is not allow layups, because layups are the highest percentage of the game. Now, you got a team that blocks shots. You don't get the referee calls on certain things, right? So a lot of times what ends up happening is mentally you start searching for calls. So you're not actually playing your game. You're just kind of like not focusing on finishing the basket. You're focusing on like drawing a foul. And when you don't get the calls, the other team is able to just take advantage, just go the other way. Okay, here's one right here. Block it at the rim, right? See? Block it at the rim, gone to the races. Here's another one, right? See, we're contesting the threes. We have high hands, right? High hands, contest the threes. And right here, just deflections and just being able to move up, right? See, we're guarding the three-point line. We're noticing where, defensively, where we're at. Keeping everything at the rim. Active hands, settle, because we're not able to get an open three and we're not able to get all the way to the rim. So downhill, block shot at the rim. Because defensively, that's what we don't want to give up. We don't want to give up threes, and we don't want to give up the rim. So the whole mid-range is open. But with a team that only goes threes and layups, the dangers of it is you don't have that in-between game. So you're not forcing the defense to have to make decisions, because the decision is already made for the defense. You're shooting a three or making the rim. So I think sometimes being able to keep the defense off balance by sometimes being able to pull up in the mid-range opens up the rim, opens up an extra rotation. So your transition defense suffers, right? So here, we're trying to force it, we don't get it, and then it's off to the races. You guys can see pushing, we're going to get layup, especially. So rule of thumb that we saw during March Madness, when you miss shots at the rim or you get a shot blocked, what ends up happening a lot of times is you give up layups at the other end, or you give up an open opportunity. Here, block shot, gone. Now we got the advantage, right? Javon Quinterly's back here after missing a shot, and now we could just push, and we have the advantage right here. See, we have somebody at the rim. They have to decide, take away the rim, opens up the three. Money. Here's another one right here. Push, they miss a shot. We're trying to look for the foul. We don't get it here, and we almost get put on the poster right here. Okay? So it's hard for us to be able to get back and get matched up properly, especially when we're trying to force it. We're not making plays off balance, and then we're just like trying to force things at the rim. We don't get the calls from the officials, so the transition game opens up for the other team. Lastly, we got the pressures, right? So we got to think. The difference with a regular season game is that regular season, you know that if you're one of the better teams, and you know there's not a lot of pressure on certain games, players start playing more freely. Okay, so I can take more shots because I know that, yeah, we're the better team, we have a better record, and we can miss shots, but we know we're still going to get back, because we know that all the factors that we just talked about with the refereeing and all that stuff, we all know that can come back and play in our favor. So the pressures are that in a elimination game is you actually have to make those shots. because if you don't get the calls, you got to find another way. You're gonna be in trouble. So here, there's pressure on 15 to be able to make this shot right here. We're in the second half of a elimination game, so you can kind of feel like it's deflating, and especially when you're a team that bases it. So now you're forcing things. You're not playing off balance. You're kind of like wishing that it goes in, and you'll notice that a lot of bad shots end up happening because under pressure, it's deflating. Here we get lucky that we grab the offensive rebound, but under pressure, think about it. The pressure of making a shot, the pressure of the officiating, the pressure of eliminating, my season being done, the pressure of not as many possessions, right? Because we know that in the playoffs, the game slows down. There's not as many possessions in the playoffs, right? So just be able to see this. Everybody getting up. We're hopeful, and you could kind of like read the language of the bench and the crowd as this shot misses, deflating. Here's another one. And again, it looks like we're hunting for shots, right? See? That's a settle. Over contested hands, right? More pressure. The pressure of high hands, the pressure of the moment. These are all things that we don't really think about. But again, here, late, now we're down and we're searching. We're trying to go for the home run play. Going for the home run play right here. Right? So just a couple of things for us to think about. So yeah, we do. So the 5 things were that we do settle a lot, right? The referees ref the game differently. Defensively, teams are taught to take away the rim and take away the threes, right? So how do we adjust? Our transition offense suffers because once we take those shots and we get our shot blocked at the rim, the defense can just go straight into offense. And there's also the pressures of a championship game, the pressures of having to make the next shot, the pressure of getting back into the game. Because the thing about it is, I understand that value-wise, taking a lot of shots at the rim and taking threes is probably the most valuable way to go. From a value standpoint, absolutely. But there's the emotional part of the game that I think that a lot of times we kind of try to eliminate, where we kind of feel like if one player takes the 3-point shot at any moment, it's the same shot. It depends on the individual. Like, not everybody is built the same way. Like, for some players early in the game, taking a 3-point shot might be a higher percentage than in the last 5 minutes of the game, right? So, and I also think that being able to keep the defense on balance and having a couple guys that can hit mid-ranges can sometimes open up certain things. But big fan of Alabama. Just the shots weren't falling, and they weren't able to move on. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, just hit the like. I would really appreciate it. And let me know what else we should be looking at. So March Madness in full swing. We're in there. It's Coach O signing off. Catch y'all in the next video. Peace.